Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, every time I start a video, I start with a different greeting. Okay, it's fine. Topic: what's the problem worth solving? I think it's human shaming. Human shaming. Stop human shaming. How about that? I can't help but notice that most protests these days are how do I put it? Demented, anti-human, and anti-life by extension. Take CO2 for example. I learned quite early at school, and I put it briefly, that CO2, carbon dioxide, makes about 0.5% of the air. Plants need CO2 for living. Plants provide oxygen for human beings and animals to breathe. I heard about CO2 being a cause for climate change. I had a bad feeling about it, but I shrugged it off at first and thought that they must know something that I don't. Wrong! Again, just briefly, if it gets hotter, more carbon dioxide rises from the oceans. It's not the other way around. It's not like the more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the hotter it gets. You hear me? Carbon dioxide has no effect on climate or weather whatsoever. Now I should mention the scientist Patrick Moore, or shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? Both options could be right, both options could be wrong. I think it's right to mention his work. Look up his videos for yourself, if you want to. You're not stupid. Please, I hope I don't have to explain. If I fuck up, don't blame him. Okay? If I fuck something up, don't blame him. Blame me if I fuck something up. It's easy. It must be easy to understand that. Responsibility has to be assigned correctly. He's a senpai in the Department of Ecology and Climate. He's a scientist. He knows things. He's a senpai. Greta Thunberg, a script-reading 16-year-old Swedish autist, isn't a senpai. If you have a complex problem, is it the best idea to ask a creepy Swedish girl for a solution? Honestly. Let's say John Doe has a tax declaration to work on. It gets difficult. If John Doe asks Greta Thunberg, he gets a "How dare you? You've stolen my dreams." Wow, that solves the problem. John Doe ends up doing the tax declaration himself again, feeling ashamed of himself. I mean, if he falls for that crap. For eco-puritans, it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you feel bad about yourself. You need to feel ashamed for eating fish? Is that true? Eco-puritans make shit up. They claim there aren't enough fish and squids and seafood. It's a lie. It's designed to shame people into... I don't even want to specify it. Some say you can't criticize the argument made by a child. By Greta Thunberg. What? Children get criticized all the time if they are wrong. It should be possible to criticize her arguments. But she doesn't make any. She just say, "How dare you?" And that's it. Well, how is... Jesus. Yeah, okay. Probably her parents could be criticized, who hide behind her, who bamboozled her. They should be criticized. What the fuck do I know? I know that normally children can hide behind their parents because parents protect their children, not the other way around. So how is that greater phenomenon not a form of unnecessary demoralization? How? One should be ashamed of being human? Well, I'm ashamed of a lot of things. Being human isn't one of them. When it comes to Greta, some might tell me, you should become a father, then you'll understand. No, sorry, having children is not on my to-do list. Don't put it there. I have my own private reasons for not having children, no more, no less. I don't want to explain it. Other people having children, none of my business, honestly. It's okay to have children. It's also okay not to have children. If someone wants to coerce me into having children with pressure and proxy violence, I'm just gonna wear false shame on my face and say, yeah, okay, I should have children, and then I'll procrastinate forever. I like the honest option better and say, no, I don't want to have children. Transition into a different topic. Shame can become an endless regress. In the end, I could become ashamed of having been born, as if that was something that I did. That would be retarded. I could be ashamed of being ashamed. Same thing, it's pointless. What not just climate alarmists play is a game without a winner. By design, you cannot win, because it is human shaming. Another example of human shaming by design. One out of so many unnecessary problems. Male genital mutilations of baby boys. Yeah, I know, it's a heavy shift. It's a topic shift. Yeah, I know. Okay, but that's a topic. For me, right now. Male genital mutilation of baby boys, aka circumcision. I take one topic. I take that topic now. Male circumcision. I focus on that topic because it's dominant by quantity. Worldwide, 10 times more boys are affected by genital mutilation than girls. The arguments for it are flimsy in my judgment. I will try different approaches available to me in order to fight them. First approach: dismissing the rationalizations. First argument: in case it is done to a baby, it is often said babies had no feelings. That's a strange claim. I was under the impression that babies had nothing else but. I heard babies scream if they are hungry or if they want something. That's bearable. How a baby boy screams if one of its most sensible body parts is cut off is a very different kind of screaming. Have a strong drink and watch a documentary about a baby's circumcision if you don't believe it. Second, one of the weirdest arguments I heard from my own mouth, because I was stupid, was it's anti-Semitic to criticize circumcision, because back then I didn't know shit. It is decided in the West by parents who aren't Jewish. Jews are just a small part of people who circumcise their boys. They're just part of the problem. Please. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, yeah. Wow. What am I saying? Most people who circumcise their baby boys aren't Jews. Yeah, that's it. That's my argument. Whew, that was close. Third, what rationalizations do parents have? Example: the mother wants it because women like circumcised penises. Yikes. What has the mother to do with the not yet existing sexuality of her boy? Sounds mega creepy to me. I would admit that it would be less of a problem if he's in puberty, but I would still regard it as a problem. Fourth argument: it makes the glands bigger. Strange claim. If you cut off something from something, it gets smaller, not bigger. I'd call that statement a result of an optical illusion, often made by men who were personally affected. I would admit that it could be a nice move, like, don't worry about me too much. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to make my fellow men feel like victims. I'm trying to focus on the argument for the sake of debunking bullshit. Fifth argument: it prevents STDs. Wow. That argument is the most absurd and irresponsible. I know. The only measure I know to prevent STDs with 100% certainty is to avoid sex completely. The next best option is to use a condom. The next best option is faithfulness, monogamy, with an equally faithful partner. That one would be my personal favorite. Monogamy, I'm all for it. It would be. Who relies on circumcision in order to prevent STDs is very ill-advised. It's even worse. The foreskin reduces friction, makes things softer, and by that reduces the risk of an infection transmitted by blood exchange. A penis unprotected by a foreskin tends to dry up easier, it gets porous and more vulnerable to germs. And vulnerable to... I can't believe I'm saying this. Vulnerable to an environment with a pH value of 4.2, nudge nudge. It tames men and prepares them for a hard life. That's the sixth argument. Yeah? Baby boys aren't men. How about treating babies like babies and men like men? I know that's a strange idea. What else can I say? Hail Sparta! I don't know, morons who torture babies, tiny not yet full-blown human beings who didn't even have the opportunity to do something evil. I would like to hail such morons with rocks. In some cases, genital mutilation works as a trauma bond, as an obstacle to maturity. Not making man more mature, but obstacle. Next approach, a personal one. My foreskin was slightly trimmed down. It was more of a cosmetic intervention and it was done under local anesthetics, with my own will. The pain afterwards was very intense. It gave me a glimpse how that must be like without anesthetics and against one's own will. Not so good, especially if there's no requirement, like there was in my case. I took it with humor, but must admit that it was very, very painful. Next approach, broken metaphor. It is normal and necessary to cut a boy's hair now and then, so it's also normal to cut off a tiny flap of the skin. And forget the now and then. It could only happen once. If you cut off the foreskin of a boy, it can only happen once because the foreskin doesn't grow back naturally, like hair does. Broken metaphor. Next approach. Diabolical joke. Here it comes. Circumcision must continue, because how else can fish restaurants get their fresh supply of squid rings? The oceans aren't overfished. There are enough squids to make squid rings out of. Whoever told you that eating squid rings was unethical is a liar. Whoever told you that cutting off sensitive body parts from boys was necessary is a liar. I will not change my mind on those two issues. Circle closed. Have a good day. If you can. By the way, I named this... the name of the video is just in order to trick the algorithm and to get more views. I don't really hate Trump at all.